Captain Tom Reed stood at the viewport of the Earth exploration vessel Horizon watching the giant alien space station grow larger. His heart beat faster. After years of space travel, humans would finally meet the Galactic Council. "Docking in 5 minutes, Captain," said his pilot, Jack. Tom straightened his uniform. As the leader of humanity's first diplomatic mission, he felt the weight of 7 billion hopes on his shoulders. "Remember," he told his team, "we are guests here. Be polite and watch what you say." The Horizon docked with a soft thud. When the airlock opened, strange smells filled the ship. The alien welcoming party waited beyond the door. 5 creatures unlike anything on Earth. One had blue skin and 4 arms. Another floated in the air like a jellyfish. The tallest one looked like a praying mantis. "Welcome to Central Station," said the blue alien in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Lori of the Eldar. We have studied your transmissions for decades." Tom stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Thank you for inviting us. I am Captain Tom Reed of Earth." The aliens led them through wide hallways filled with strange creatures from 100 worlds. Some walked, others slithered, flew, or rolled on wheels. Tom noticed many aliens moved away when his team passed by. "Is something wrong?" he asked Lori. "Nothing to worry about," the blue alien said quickly. "Many species have never seen a Deathworlder before." "A what?" Tom asked. Lori's 4 hands moved nervously. "Just a planetary classification, nothing important." Later that day, after a formal welcome ceremony, the human team was shown to their quarters. The rooms were too large, the beds too soft, and the air too thin. Everything seemed built for weaker bodies. Tom couldn't sleep. He left his room to walk the quiet halls of the station. As he turned a corner, he heard voices from a small meeting room. Through the gap in the door, he saw several council members talking in low voices. "They are strong, too strong," said a tall, bird-like alien. "Did you see how they move? Like predators." "We agreed to hear them out," said Lori. "Not all Deathworlders are the same. The last time we welcomed Deathworlders, 3 systems burned," hissed another alien. "We cannot make the same mistake." "These humans might be different," Lori argued. "They show cooperation, empathy, not like the others." Tom backed away silently, his mind racing. What were they talking about? What others? And why did the term Deathworlder make the aliens so nervous? The next morning, he called Jane Miller, his science officer, to his room. "I need you to find out everything you can about this Deathworld classification," Tom told her. "And find out if there are other species like us out there." Jane nodded. "I'll start right away, Captain." "Be careful," Tom warned. "I think this is sensitive information. The council members don't like talking about it." Over the next few days, as the diplomatic talks continued, Tom noticed more signs that something was wrong. The aliens seemed surprised by human strength and endurance. When Jack helped move a heavy container that 3 aliens struggled with, the room went silent with shock. During medical examinations, the alien doctors whispered about human bone density, muscle fiber, and healing abilities. One night, Tom heard one doctor tell another, their planet should have killed them, not made them stronger. Jane reported her findings in private. "Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world, Captain. High gravity, high radiation, extreme temperature ranges, diverse pathogens, and countless predators. According to their scale, it's one of the harshest inhabited planets in the galaxy." "And the other Deathworlders they mentioned?" Tom asked. Jane's face grew serious. "That's where it gets strange. There are scattered references to a quarantine zone at the edge of known space, something about apex predators that nearly destroy the early council. But every time I dig deeper, the files disappear or get locked." Tom looked out at the stars. "Whatever they're hiding, I think it's the real reason they fear us." "Should we confront them?" Jane asked. "Not yet," Tom decided. "First, we need to find out what happened to these other Deathworlders. and why the oldest civilizations in the galaxy are so afraid of them and us. 3 weeks passed on the space station. More human ships arrived, bringing scientists, traders, and tourists eager to meet alien life. Tom watched as his people began to mix with the many species of the Galactic Council. It didn't take long for humans to notice they were different. In the station's exercise area, Bill, a security officer, lifted weights that made the aliens stare in shock. When Lisa, a doctor, cut her hand in the lab, the alien medics gathered around to watch it heal in days instead of weeks. Jane continued her research, meeting Tom in his quarters each evening to share what she found. "Earth is special, Captain," she said, showing him data on her tablet. "Our gravity is almost twice what most aliens consider normal. Our air has more oxygen. Our sun gives off more radiation, and our planet has more deadly animals, plants, and diseases than most. So that's why they call us Deathworlders," Tom said. "We evolved on a planet that would kill most aliens." "Exactly. And it made us stronger, faster, and tougher than most species here." Jane pointed to more charts. "We can lift more, run longer, breathe thicker air, and survive injuries that would kill them." Tom frowned. "But that doesn't explain why they fear us. Being strong isn't the same as being dangerous." "No, but something happened with other strong species," Jane said. "I found mentions of a war long ago. The records are heavily protected, but I keep seeing references to the apex predators and a place called the Dark Regions." The next day, Tom met Ben, an older alien diplomat with gray skin and wise eyes. Unlike others, Ben seemed comfortable around humans. They walked together through the station's garden dome. "Your people are adapting well," Ben said. "Faster than expected." "We're good at adapting. Earth taught us that," Tom replied. "Ben, can I ask you something? What are the Dark Regions?" Ben stopped walking. His 3 eyes blinked slowly. "Where did you hear that term?" "Just something I picked up. Is it a secret?" After a long silence, Ben led Tom to a quiet corner. "Captain Reed, there are things the Council doesn't discuss openly. History that brings shame and fear." He lowered his voice. "There are other Deathworlders in the dark regions of space. The Council fears them, and they fear you may be like them." "Are we?" Tom asked. "I don't know yet," Ben said. "But be careful about traveling beyond Council space. Some boundaries exist for good reasons." Later that week, Jane made a breakthrough. She found Tom in the station's observation deck. "I got into the ancient records," she said excitedly. "Over 50,000 years ago, the Council established a quarantine zone at the edge of the galaxy. They built massive barriers in space to contain something." "The other Deathworlders?" Tom asked. Jane nodded. "A species called the Krell. They also evolved on a high-gravity, high-danger world. But unlike us, they remained pure predators even after developing technology." "What happened?" "War," Jane said simply. "The Krell saw other species as prey, not equals. They hunted them, not for resources or territory, but because hunting was in their nature." She shivered. "The oldest Council races nearly went extinct before they managed to trap the Krell in their home region." Tom looked out at the stars. "And they think we might be the same. We're physically similar to the Krell. Strong, fast, built to survive. But mentally," Jane trailed off. "We're different," Tom finished. "We evolved cooperation alongside our strength." As they talked, an urgent message came through on Tom's communicator. The voice of Jack, his pilot, sounded tense. "Captain, we have a problem. The human colony ship Pioneer has gone missing." "Where was it last seen?" Tom asked. There was a pause before Jack answered. "Near the edge of Council space. They were charting new routes when they disappeared." Tom and Jane exchanged worried looks. The edge of Council space, near the ancient quarantine zone that held the Krell. "Get the crew together," Tom ordered. "We need to find out what happened to that ship." What neither of them noticed was Ben standing in the shadows nearby, listening with 3 eyes wide with fear. "The council has refused our request," Tom told his crew as they gathered in the Horizons meeting room. His face was grim. "They won't send ships to find the Pioneer *. That's 200 people." Jack hit the table with his fist. "We can't just leave them out there." "The council claims the Pioneer * violated treaty agreements by traveling too close to restricted space," Jane explained. "They say rescue missions are too dangerous." Mark Wilson, the ship's security chief, crossed his arms. "They're hiding something." Tom nodded. "That's why we're going to find the Pioneer * ourselves." The room went quiet. "Captain," Jane said carefully, "if we enter the quarantine zone, we'll break council law." "I know," Tom replied. "That's why I'm only asking for volunteers. This mission isn't official. Anyone who wants to stay behind can do so without shame." No one moved. "Then it's settled," Tom said. "We leave in 6 hours. Tell your families you're on a routine patrol. The less the council knows, the better." The Horizon * slipped away from the space station that night. For 3 days, they followed the Pioneer's * last known course, moving deeper into uncharted space. On the 4th day, they reached the invisible line that marked the beginning of the quarantine zone. "Any sign of the barrier?" Tom asked. Jane checked her instruments. "Nothing physical, just old warning beacons. Whatever technology they used to contain the Krell is either gone or not what we expected." "Take us through, Jack." Slow and steady. The ship passed the boundary without incident. For 2 more days they searched, scanning dozens of star systems. Finally, they picked up a faint distress signal. "It's from the Pioneer *, Jack confirmed. "Coming from that planet ahead." The world below was green and blue, much like Earth but with 2 small moons. They found the Pioneer * crashed in a valley, its hull torn open like a can. Only 27 survivors remained, hiding in the wreckage. The leader of the survivors, a woman named Anna, told their story as Tom's team brought them aboard the Horizon *. "We were mapping the system when something hit our engines," she said, her hands shaking. "We crashed 3 weeks ago. That's when they came." "Who?" Tom asked. "Hunters," Anna whispered. "Fast, strong aliens. They moved like shadows. They took people. Dozens at first, then more slowly, like they were selecting. The aliens looked almost like us, but different. Taller, scales instead of skin, eyes that seemed to see everything." "Did they speak to you?" Jane asked. Anna nodded. "Their leader said one word: interesting. Then they started taking people to study." Tom organized search teams to look for the missing crew members. Mark led the team that found the alien facility hidden under a mountain. From outside, they could see it was far more advanced than council technology. "This is a research center," Jane said as they approached cautiously. "Look at those towers. They're collecting data from space." They found an entrance and moved inside. The walls were smooth black metal with strange symbols. The corridors were empty until they reached a large chamber filled with transparent containers. Each one held an alien body, some from council races, others unknown. "They're collecting species," Jane whispered, "studying them." In the back of the room, they found newer containers. Inside were humans from the Pioneer *, alive but unconscious, connected to machines. "We need to get them out," Mark said, looking for controls. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed along the walls. A voice spoke in an unknown language, then switched to broken English. "New specimens detected. Security protocols activated. Back to the ship," Tom ordered. "Now." They ran through the corridors as doors slammed shut behind them. As they reached the exit, a tall figure blocked their path. It stood 7 feet tall with greenish scales, muscular limbs, and yellow eyes with vertical pupils. Behind it stood more of its kind, holding weapons. "More Deathworlders," the creature said in perfect English, its voice deep and curious. "How unexpected." Tom raised his hand slowly. "We came for our people. We don't want trouble." The alien's mouth curved in what might have been a smile, showing rows of sharp teeth. "I am Razak of the Krell, and you have just become the most interesting thing to happen in this prison in 10,000 years." Guards surrounded Tom and his team. The Krell moved with frightening speed and grace, their scaled bodies glinting under the lights. Razak, their leader, studied the humans with unblinking yellow eyes. "Take the others back to their ship," Razak ordered his soldiers. "This one stays." He pointed at Tom. "Captain." Mark started to resist, but Tom shook his head. "Go," Tom said firmly. "That's an order. Get the survivors to safety." As his team was led away, Tom faced Razak alone. The Krell leader circled him slowly. "You are not like the others who stumbled into our territory," Razak said. "You came looking for your people. Interesting." "We protect our own," Tom replied. "Now, what have you done with the missing crew from the Pioneer *? Razak made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Direct. I like that." He gestured for Tom to follow. "Come, I will show you." They walked through corridors lined with strange technology. Krell scientists worked at stations, analyzing data. Razak led Tom to a large room with a curved wall of windows overlooking an even larger chamber below. Inside that chamber, humans from the Pioneer * were performing various tasks while Krell observed them. "We are not harming them," Razak said. "We are studying them. You are the first new Deathworlders we have encountered in 100,000 years." "Deathworlders," Tom repeated. "What exactly does that mean to you?" Razak's eyes narrowed. "It means we evolved on worlds that should have killed us. High gravity, deadly predators, extreme environments. It forced us to become strong, fast, smart." He tapped a claw against the window. "The weak died. Only the perfect hunters survived." "Humans didn't evolve as pure hunters," Tom said. "No," Razak agreed. "That is what makes you fascinating. You developed cooperation, empathy, things we never needed." Tom felt a chill. "Tell me about your history with the Council." Razak's mouth curved into that tooth-filled smile again. "We were the first Deathworlders to reach the stars. The galaxy was filled with easy prey, species from gentle worlds, slow, weak, perfect for hunting. You attacked them," Tom said, not as a question. "We did what our nature demanded," Razak replied without shame. "We hunted. The Council races had no concept of predators. They had no natural defenses, no understanding of war. They were lambs meeting wolves for the first time." Tom thought of the fear in the Council aliens' eyes when they looked at humans. Now he understood why. "How did they stop you?" Razak's face darkened. "They couldn't, not directly. But they were clever. They built great machines that created walls in space itself. They sacrificed their most advanced technology to trap us here, in this small corner of the galaxy." He spread his arms. "This prison is 20 star systems large, but still a prison. For 100,000 years." Tom asked in disbelief. "Yes, we have tried to escape, generation after generation, but their barriers adapt to our technology." Razak leaned closer. "Until recently, we were close to breaking through when your ship arrived." A terrible understanding dawned on Tom. "That's why you captured the Pioneer *. You wanted to study us because we come from outside the barrier." "Precisely." Razak's eyes gleamed. "But finding another Deathworld species was an unexpected bonus. You are like us, yet unlike us. Strong but different. Your genetic code is similar, but your social structures are alien to us. We're nothing like you," Tom said firmly. "No." Razak gestured to a screen showing images of human history. Wars, weapons, armies. "Are you sure?" Your planet shaped you as ours shaped us. The difference is merely one of degree. Tom shook his head. The difference is choice. We choose cooperation over predation. We build instead of hunt. An interesting theory, Razak said. We shall test it. Before Tom could respond, gas filled the room. As his vision blurred, he heard Razak say, "Don't worry, Captain. We won't harm you. You're far too valuable. You may be the key to our freedom, and perhaps to our evolution." Tom's last thought before darkness took him was of Earth, and what would happen if creatures like the Krell ever reached it. Tom woke up strapped to a table. Bright lights shone down on him. His head hurt, but his mind was clear. He tried to break free, but the restraints were too strong. "Don't waste your energy," said a voice. Razak stepped into view. Those restraints would hold creatures 3 times your strength. "Where are my people?" Tom demanded. "Your crew returned to their ship as promised," Razak said. "They hovered just beyond our atmosphere, waiting for you. Loyal, like pack animals." A female Krell in a white coat approached. She had lighter scales and observant eyes. "Subject is awake and alert," she noted. "Shall we begin, Director?" "Yes, Dr. Vex," Razak replied. "Show our guest what we've learned." The table tilted upright. Tom could now see a large room filled with scientific equipment. Screens displayed DNA sequences, brain scans, and body systems. "For 10 years, we've studied the humans we captured," Vex explained. "At first, we thought you were simply weaker Deathworlders. But that wasn't right. You're different." She touched a control. A screen showed side-by-side comparisons of Krell and human biology. "Physically, we are similar," she continued. "Strong muscles, dense bones, efficient lungs, all adaptations to high-gravity worlds. But your brains," she pointed to brain scans. "Your emotional centers are more developed. Your reward systems activate for cooperation, not just successful hunting." "What are you saying?" Tom asked. "She is saying," Razak cut in, "that you took a different evolutionary path than we did. Where we developed perfect hunting instincts, you developed perfect social instincts." Vex nodded. "Your kind finds strength in groups. Ours finds it in individual power. That's why you've been experimenting on my people," Tom realized. "You're trying to understand how we think." "Not just understand," Razak said. His clawed hand touched a sample tube containing red liquid. "We want to take the best parts of human genetics and add them to our own." Tom's blood ran cold. "You're creating hybrids." "Creating a better Krell," Razak corrected. "One that can understand other species not just as prey, but as potential allies." "Not all Krell agree," Vex added quietly. "Many believe this research is dangerous, that it will weaken us." Razak waved dismissively. "Old thinking. The galaxy has changed in 100,000 years. When we break free, pure hunting will not serve us as it once did." Tom saw an opportunity. "So you're not united. There are different opinions among your people." "A recent development," Razak admitted. "Studying humans has caused debates. Young Krell question our traditions. It's troubling." A loud alarm suddenly blared. A Krell guard rushed in. "Director, the human ship is attacking our outer defenses. They've deployed small craft." "Impossible," Razak snarled. "Their weapons couldn't penetrate." "They're not using weapons," the guard reported. "They're using construction drones. They're dismantling the defense grid piece by piece." Tom couldn't help smiling. "Human ingenuity. We're good at solving problems." Razak looked at Tom with new respect. "Clever. Very clever." He turned to the guard. "Let them come. I want to meet these humans properly." "Sir," the guard asked, confused. "They're not attacking to destroy us," Razak explained. "They're coming for their leader. A rescue mission." He looked at Tom. "Something we would never do for each other." While the Krell were distracted, Tom noticed Vex slipped something into his pocket. She gave him a small nod. Minutes later, the rescue team burst into the lab. Mark led the way, weapon ready. "Captain." "I'm fine," Tom assured them. "No one needs to get hurt." Razak ordered his guards to stand down. "Your captain is correct. This has been educational for all of us." As Tom's team escorted him out, he felt the object Vex had given him. It was a small data device. Outside, as they boarded their shuttle, Tom whispered to Jane, "We need to get this back to Earth immediately. It contains everything the Krell know about us, and plans for something much worse." In orbit above, the Horizon prepared to jump to light speed, carrying secrets that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The Horizon raced back to Council space. In the ship's lab, Jane studied the data device from Dr. Vex, while Tom recovered from his ordeal. "This is worse than we thought," Jane said, looking up from her screen. "The Krell have been collecting genetic samples from every Council species for millennia. They're creating biological weapons designed specifically to target the oldest races. Could they really wipe out entire civilizations?" Tom asked. Jane nodded grimly. "According to this data, yes. They've had 100,000 years to study weaknesses, and they're close to breaking through the quarantine barrier." When the Horizon returned to the space station, chaos erupted. Word had spread that humans had encountered the Krell and escaped. The Council called an emergency meeting, demanding Tom's presence. The Council chamber was filled with representatives from dozens of worlds. Fear and anger filled the air as Tom stood before them. "You broke our most sacred law," said Lori, the blue-skinned Eldar ambassador. "You entered the quarantine zone. You made contact with the Krell." "We went to rescue our people," Tom replied calmly, "and we discovered why you feared Deathworlders so much." A tall bird-like alien stepped forward. "The Krell nearly destroyed us all. We contained them at great cost. And now, thanks to you, they know there are new species beyond their prison. You've given them hope of escape." "They were already close to escaping," Tom countered. He held up the data device. "This contains proof. They've been working on breaking your barriers for thousands of years. They're almost through." Murmurs of panic spread through the chamber. Some council members pointed at Tom accusingly. "See, just as we feared," cried one. "These humans will bring the Krell upon us again." "Perhaps we should contain the humans in their own quarantine zone," suggested another, "before they ally with the Krell." Ben, Tom's alien friend, pushed through the crowd. "Listen to him. The Krell would have broken free eventually. At least now we have warning." The room quieted as Tom spoke again. "I have a proposal. Humans will help strengthen your quarantine barrier. Our technology is different from what the Krell has studied. We can make repairs they won't expect." The council members looked at each other uncertainly. And Tom continued, "We should establish contact with the Krell." Outrage exploded in the chamber. "Contact? Madness," shouted several voices. Tom raised his hands, not as enemies or prey, but as negotiators. "For 100,000 years, you've chosen containment over communication. But things are changing. The Krell are changing." He explained what he had learned about the divisions among the Krell, how studying humans had caused younger Krell to question their predatory nature. "Humans are uniquely positioned to understand both sides," Tom argued. "We have the physical resilience of Deathworlders, but we've built societies based on cooperation like yours. We can be the bridge between worlds that never understood each other." Lori stepped closer to Tom. "How can we trust the Krell? Or you, for that matter? You are both Deathworlders." "Being from a Deathworld doesn't make us the same," Tom said firmly. "Earth taught us to survive through cooperation, not predation. That's the difference that matters." The council debated for hours. Finally, Lori announced their decision. "We will accept human help to repair the barrier," she said, "and we will permit a small team to attempt communication with the Krell." Her eyes narrowed. "But if this fails, if the Krell trick you, the consequences will be severe, for both species." As the meeting ended, Ben approached Tom. "You're taking a great risk, Captain. The Krell have deceived many before." "I know," Tom replied. "But what's the alternative? Eternal imprisonment. Eventual war. There has to be another way." Ben placed a hand on Tom's shoulder. "For the sake of all our worlds, I hope you're right about the Krell. And about yourselves." Tom looked around at the Council aliens, still watching humans with fear and suspicion. "So do I, Ben. So do I." 3 days later, a small fleet reached the edge of the quarantine zone. The Horizon led the way, followed by 2 council ships carrying engineers and diplomats. As they approached the barrier, Jane directed the installation of new technology designed to strengthen the containment field. "The Krell won't be able to break through this," she explained to the council engineers. "It uses principles they haven't seen before." Meanwhile, Tom prepared for the most important meeting of his life. He would enter Krell territory again, this time as an official diplomat. "Are you sure about this?" Mark asked as they boarded the shuttle. "We barely escaped last time." "We have to try," Tom replied. "War or endless imprisonment are the only other options." The small team crossed into Krell space. They were met by a Krell ship and escorted to a neutral meeting place, a small moon orbiting a gas giant. There, in a hastily constructed dome, Tom came face to face with Razak once more. The Krell leader was not alone. Dr. Vex stood beside him, along with several younger Krell who watched the humans with curious eyes rather than predatory stares. "Captain Reed," Razak greeted him. "You returned boldly for someone who was my prisoner not long ago." "I return with an offer," Tom said. "The Council has agreed to open communication with the Krell through human mediators." Razak's yellow eyes narrowed. "After 100,000 years of silence, why would they speak now?" "Because they know you're close to breaking free," Tom answered honestly. "And because we convinced them there might be another way forward." "What way?" asked a younger Krell, stepping forward despite Razak's warning glance. Tom addressed the younger Krell directly. "Peace, exchange, learning from each other rather than hunting or fearing one another." "Impossible," Razak growled. "The Council races will never trust us. Nor should they." "Not immediately," Tom admitted. "But what if you could prove you've changed? What if the Krell could show they've evolved beyond pure predation?" Dr. Vex spoke up. "Our research suggests it's possible. The human genetic material shows us how cooperation can be as advantageous as hunting." "You speak of changing what we are," Razak said angrily. "Our nature has kept us strong for eons." "It's also kept you imprisoned," Tom pointed out. "Is that what you want for future generations? More confinement? More isolation?" The younger Krell looked at each other, then at their elders. Something was changing in their eyes. A new way of thinking taking hold. Razak seemed to sense it too. He studied Tom for a long moment, then made a surprising confession. "When we first encountered other species, we thought our way was the only way. Evolve as predators or die. Strength above all else." He gestured toward the humans. "Then you appeared. From a world as harsh as ours, yet with different values. It disturbed many of us. Made us question what we thought was natural law." "That's why you were so interested in studying us," Tom realized. "Yes," Dr. Vex answered. "You showed us another evolutionary path was possible." After hours of tense discussion, they reached an agreement. The Krell would cease their escape efforts and weapons development in exchange for limited supervised access to the wider galaxy. Humans would oversee Krell representatives in cultural and scientific exchanges. As the meeting ended, Tom looked around at these two groups. The ancient, peaceful council species who had survived by cooperation, and the powerful Krell who had evolved as perfect predators. Between them stood humans, carrying elements of both worlds. "We all evolved to survive our home planets," Tom said. "The council races adapted to gentle worlds through kindness and sharing. The Krell adapted to harsh worlds through strength and hunting. Humans found a middle path, We became strong, but we survived by helping each other. Razak nodded slowly. Perhaps that is why you will succeed where others failed. You understand both the predator and the prey. As Tom prepared to return to Council space with the historic agreement, he realized that Earth's harsh conditions had given humanity not just physical strength, but something far more valuable: the ability to build bridges between the stars. 3 days later, a small fleet reached the edge of the quarantine zone. The Horizon led the way, followed by 2 Council ships carrying engineers and diplomats. As they approached the barrier, Jane directed the installation of new technology designed to strengthen the containment field. The Krell won't be able to break through this, she explained to the Council engineers. It uses principles they haven't seen before. Meanwhile, Tom prepared for the most important meeting of his life. He would enter Krell territory again, this time as an official diplomat. Are you sure about this? Mark asked as they boarded the shuttle. We barely escaped last time. We have to try, Tom replied. War or endless imprisonment are the only other options. The small team crossed into Krell space. They were met by a Krell ship and escorted to a neutral meeting place, a small moon orbiting a gas giant. There, in a hastily constructed dome, Tom came face to face with Razak once more. The Krell leader was not alone. Dr. Vex stood beside him, along with several younger Krell who watched the humans with curious eyes rather than predatory stares. Captain Reed, Razak greeted him. You returned boldly for someone who was my prisoner not long ago. I return with an offer, Tom said. The Council has agreed to open communication with the Krell through human mediators. Razak's yellow eyes narrowed. After 100,000 years of silence, why would they speak now? Because they know you're close to breaking free, Tom answered honestly. And because we convinced them there might be another way forward. What way? Asked a younger Krell, stepping forward despite Razak's warning glance. Tom addressed the younger Krell directly. Peace, exchange, learning from each other rather than hunting or fearing one another. Impossible, Razak growled. The Council races will never trust us. Nor should they. Not immediately, Tom admitted. But what if you could prove you've changed? What if the Krell could show they've evolved beyond pure predation? Dr. Vex spoke up. Our research suggests it's possible. The human genetic material shows us how cooperation can be as advantageous as hunting. You speak of changing what we are, Razak said angrily. Our nature has kept us strong for eons. It's also kept you imprisoned, Tom pointed out. Is that what you want for future generations? More confinement? More isolation? The younger Krell looked at each other, then at their elders. Something was changing in their eyes. A new way of thinking taking hold. Razak seemed to sense it too. He studied Tom for a long moment, then made a surprising confession. When we first encountered other species, we thought our way was the only way. Evolve as predators or die. Strength above all else. He gestured toward the humans. Then you appeared. From a world as harsh as ours, yet with different values. It disturbed many of us. Made us question what we thought was natural law. That's why you were so interested in studying us, Tom realized. Yes, Dr. Vex answered. You showed us another evolutionary path was possible. After hours of tense discussion, they reached an agreement. The Krell would cease their escape efforts and weapons development in exchange for limited supervised access to the wider galaxy. Humans would oversee Krell representatives in cultural and scientific exchanges. As the meeting ended, Tom looked around at these two groups. The ancient, peaceful Council species who had survived by cooperation, and the powerful Krell who had evolved as perfect predators. Between them stood humans, carrying elements of both worlds. We all evolved to survive our home planets, Tom said. The Council races adapted to gentle worlds through kindness and sharing. The Krell adapted to harsh worlds through strength and hunting. Humans found a middle path. We became strong, but we survived by helping each other. Razak nodded slowly. Perhaps that is why you will succeed where others failed. You understand both the predator and the prey. As Tom prepared to return to Council space with the historic agreement, he realized that Earth's harsh conditions had given humanity not just physical strength, but something far more valuable: the ability to build bridges between the stars.